So that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you, and appointed you to go and bear fruit, fruit that will last. Then the Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. This is my command: love each other. This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Tomorrow is Memorial Day. So today, my question to all of you is, what does Memorial Day weekend mean to you? Extra time off from work? 3-day weekend? Eating, grilling out, the first unofficial day of summer, the Indy 500, or maybe remembering others. This Memorial Day weekend, we should look back and remember people. We should remember the deceased. Deceased veterans, deceased family members, and deceased friends. Originally, Memorial Day was created to honor our Civil War dead. But over the years, it's become a time to remember all deceased veterans and, frankly, all of our deceased, our loved ones. That's one reason why so many folks still call it Decoration Day. Many people go to the graves of their loved ones and decorate the graves as a sign that they haven't forgotten them. With Memorial Day, it's proper to think of the past and those who have gone from this world. But for those of us who are Christians, this is not exclusively an exercise in looking back and dwelling on what has been. For we believe that more wondrous things were yet to come for those people of faith who already died. We live in the knowledge of Jesus' resurrection, and we believe that death will not be the end. It will be a new beginning. In 1969, Clarence Jordan died of a heart attack. Now, some of you may know that Jordan was the author of the Cotton Patch version of the Bible, and he was the founder of Conania Farms, an interracial community and innovative ministry in rural Georgia. His work had faced vicious opposition from many of the racists in this area during the 50s and the 60s. In keeping with his wishes, when Jordan died, his body was placed in an empty shipping crate from a local casket manufacturer and was buried in an unmarked grave on a hillside of Conania Farms. Prior to Jordan's death, Millard and Linda Fuller, who later founded Habitat for Humanity, had moved to Conania Farms, seeking a life in Christian service. Millard officiated at Jordan's funeral. It's a small service attended by family, very close friends, and the poor of the community. Legend has it that just after the casket was lowered into the ground and the grave was filled in, an unexpected thing happened. Fuller's 2-year-old daughter stepped up to the grave and began to sing the only song little girl knew. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Clarence. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday at a funeral? Kind of weird. But maybe weirdly appropriate. Because when a Christian dies, it is a birthday of sorts. When a Christian dies, death isn't an ending. It's a new beginning. And so when we think of our dead, let us do so with loving memories and the knowledge of the amazing future that was waiting for them upon their death. This Memorial Day, I want to suggest that we also need to remember the living. At the very beginning of 2 Timothy, this almost became the New Testament scripture, Paul speaks to his remembrances of Timothy. Paul wrote to Timothy, I thank God, whom I serve as my ancestors did, with a clear conscience. As night and day, I constantly remember you in my prayers. Recalling your tears, I long to see you, so that I may be filled with joy. I am reminded of your sincere faith, which first lived in your grandmother Lois and in your mother Eunice, and I am persuaded now lives in you also. Paul remembered Timothy in several ways. He remembered him enough to pray for him. First off, he remembered the pain in Timothy's life. He remembered his tears. And he remembered that Timothy was a man of faith in the Lord. At a commuter train station, a policeman noticed a woman with her head bowed over the steering wheel and in obvious distress. The police officer asked her, is there anything wrong? Half crying, half laughing, she said, for 10 years I've been driving my husband to this station every morning to catch the train. This morning, I forgot him. The worst forgetfulness of all is to forget people. One of the biggest lessons we need to learn is that God didn't put us here for us. He put us here for others. On this Memorial Day weekend, we also need to remember and be concerned about others, for the living. Ron was a 15-year-old teenager, 10th grade student in the local high school. It was game day. He was the only sophomore suiting up at the varsity football team. Excitedly, he invited his mother to attend the game. It was her very first football game. She promised to be there with friends. When the game finally ended, she was waiting outside the locker room to drive Ron home. He was only 15. Ron asked, what did you think of the game, Mom? Did you see the 3 touchdown passes we made and our tough defense and the fumble of the kickoff return that we recovered? His mother replied, Ron, you were magnificent. You have such presence, and I was proud of the pride you took in the way you looked. You pulled up your knee socks 11 times during the game. And I could tell you were perspiring in all those bulky pads because you got 8 drinks and splashed water on your face twice. I really liked how you went out of your way to pat number 19, number 5, and number 90 on the back every time they came off the field. Ron said, Mom, how do you know all of that? And how can you say I was magnificent? I didn't even play in the game. His mother smiled and hugged him. Ron, I don't know anything about football. I didn't come here to watch the game. I came here to watch you. And that's kind of a corny story. But the morals of the story is that people count most of all. Football is fine. It's fantastic for some people. But people are supreme. People are more important than the game. Most of you know that I'm a runner, and although I'm not as fast as I used to be, I still like to compete. In other words, I like to see how well I can do, and I like to compete against the others that are in the races I run. Well, last fall, our grandson Nathan started running a local cross-country series for kids. Becky and I went to the races to encourage him. And of course, being who I am, I walked out on the course, so I would be somewhere where there weren't a lot of people, and I could yell encouragement, and Nathan could actually hear me. However, he didn't seem too interested in catching the boys in front of him. He was encouraging the kids who were behind him. Pretty frustrating to this old man who runs to compete, not for recreation. Maybe I need to take a hint from the mother who attended the football game. Maybe Nathan was demonstrating to me that he cares about the other kids, even when he doesn't even know their names. People count most of all. In our New Testament reading today, Jesus said, "My command is this, love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." Our anthem today, and thank you, Charlie, Aaron, and Alex, asks the question, am I a soldier of the cross? Are we? If so, let me phrase the New Testament verses I just read in a different way. Our commander-in-chief, Jesus, has ordered us to love each other as I have loved you. And just like our deceased military veterans, who, as it has been so aptly described many times, wrote a blank check, up to and including the forfeiture of their lives, our Christian commander-in-chief also says that true love might require the laying down of one's life for others. Thanks to Dr. Toole, I learned something new this week. There are many times in the New Testament where we are called to be witnesses for Christ. You know what the Greek word is that's translated into witness? The Greek word is martyr, or martyros. That's the root word for martyr. Now, I'm not suggesting that being a Christian means that we will be put in harm's way in the same way that a military service member might fully expect. But Jesus is telling us that we should put others ahead of ourselves. Sometimes even to the point of offering our life for them. We are not too certain. We are not here. We are here to serve, not to be served. And in order to serve well, we need to remember the living on a continual basis. We need to keep ever vigilant for ways to show the love of Jesus to all of those around us. John Wesley may have said it best. Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can. Now, just before Memorial Day one year, the following item appeared on page 1 of the Tulsa Tribune. The Tribune requests that persons who intend to mix liquor with gasoline this Memorial Day to kindly leave typed obituaries and photographs with the city editor before beginning the day's observance. This courtesy will be greatly appreciated. Memorial Day is not about drinking and partying. It's not about the day off from work. It's not about picnics. And I will confess, I was helping to set up coffee hour a little while ago, and I went in to get tablecloths. I picked the ones that looked like a picnic. Ingrained in our psyche. It's all about people. Memorial Day is about remembering the dead. When you serve as a soldier of Christ, Memorial Day is also about remembering and caring for the living. Amen. Let's all stand for hymn number 74, Eternal Father, Strong to Serve.